Hi guys, Jake Warner here from Penrith Solar, and I'm joined with South Australia's solar fox himself, Eddy May. Ed, welcome to yet another potty.
Yeah, Jake, it's good to be here again. Still in Penrith. Can't leave this place. Fallen in love with it actually. Probably going to start a solar business here next week, just around the corner.
Whatever.
Anyway,
how good is Penrith though?
It actually is pretty good.
Does it surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me because I did come here for your wedding.
Yes, okay.
And I came past. But what surprised me is it took me 45 minutes to get here. Traffic was pretty hectic, right? Maybe a bit longer.
Yeah. From the city, by the way.
But I'm from Adelaide. Not from Adelaide, from Sydney.
Radelaide.
But the thing is this, right? This feels about the size of Adelaide.
Yeah.
We're a big country town, right? So to me, this feels like really quite homely. So I love it here.
Nice.
And I've noticed like a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of new builds going on. You know, there's a lot of people building their family home.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of solar going up. You guys are contributing an incredible amount of solar. How many solar panels do you reckon right now you're installing each week? Right, like how many panels?
Weekly is about 25 panels as an average system. We're doing 8 a day. And we'd work about 4.5 days a week.
So you're talking 200 of nearly 1,000 solar panels.
It's exactly 1,000 on the dot.
Yeah, you're installing 1,000 solar panels every single week, right?
Every week, yeah.
So
we don't miss a week, Ed.
Yeah.
We don't miss a week. We show up every week. Yeah, we're here, surprise.
That's good. Because, you know, what that got me thinking, right, is, you know, and the other thing I noticed on the way here is the amount of electric cars on the road, right?
Yep.
And then you and I were just talking about electrifying the home, right?
Yes.
So you're down to, you've just got gas on your barbecue now, and other than that?
Yep, all I've got, I don't have a gas meter. All I've got for my all-electric home left is 9 kilo gas bottle for the barbecue.
Yeah, okay. So I've still got gas stove hot plates to get rid of.
Yep.
And then I'm running that same main gas into my barbecue, right? So I've got two things to get rid of.
So you've got town gas? So you've got a gas meter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to get rid of that because that's no good, right?
Of course.
It's costing me, and it's really expensive now.
No, it's not cheap.
So
No,
we're gonna put in a, you know, when we redo our kitchen, which will be soon, we're gonna put in a, you know, like a full induction setup, and then that'll inspire me to sort my barbecue out, right? And then I'll be done.
What do we do with the alternate barbecue though? There was one we seen at the like the home show. But like wasn't as big and badass as the big Weber. Yeah. I think there's a hole in the market there, you know, for a good big electric barbecue. Something that does what a Weber does, but are we ever going to get the taste? Anyway.
That's a good point. We're probably not going to solve that part today.
No,
but what that has got me thinking about, right, is if I'm a husband and wife with 2 kids, and I probably know that my next car is going to be electric, and then soon we're going to have 2 electric cars in the home, and I'm not going to have any gas, right? What size solar system and battery system, what am I going to need?
What are you going to need?
What do I need in my house?
And I guess, what are the steps?
Yeah. So that's what got me thinking on the drive out to Penrith.
I have an answer for you of what you don't need.
Okay.
6.6 kilowatts.
From a retired cricketer.
From anyone.
Oh, okay, anyone.
It doesn't fit anyone.
No.
Ed, I remember in around 2017, our average system size was 7.7 kilowatts, and it was high compared to the market. Now, that's crept up over the years, and right now, PSC's average size is over 10.5. It's almost 11 kilowatts.
Yep.
I think industry average is around 9, like high 9s potentially, or 9 thereabouts. We've moved away from the era of 6.6s. In fact, I'd go to the extent of saying 12 is the new 6, right? Like, people are now thinking about the future and what they're going to need in terms of energy. Are you seeing the same thing? Or am I crazy?
You're not crazy. And people are starting to wake up to a couple of things, right? So one thing is government rebates, the STC rebate scheme, right? So on the cheaper 6.6, right, you can still get like that. $4,000 or so is being contributed in STCs, roughly, whatever the amount is. 3.5, something like that, right? So in 4 years' time, when that's gone, or whatever the number is, right, you've got an undersized system and you've lost the ability to get a government rebate.
True.
Right? So now you go, I've got this 6.6, which should be 12, but when I put the second 6.6 on, it's double the price of the first one, and I've had to pay surplus electricity the whole time. It is the dumbest thing that I see happen.
That's the beginning of your problems. Your panels don't match. Your inverters don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
You don't have one monitoring platform unless you bolt something over the top. It's a problem.
Yeah.
People come to us every day, Ed, and say, we need 6.6. I want 6.6. Give me a quote on 6.6.
Yeah.
And you've got to sit them down and say, hey, who told you you needed that? Because they're taking the piss.
Yeah, exactly.
They are taking the mickey.
So the other thing is like, where do you fit 13 kilowatts on a roof, right? Or 14 or 15?
Yep.
And my answer to that is everywhere, anywhere.
Like,
you know, just load it up and make it look great.
Of course.
Right, that's the thing. I'm not saying I can't stand it, and I won't do it, having one panel here and one one portrait, one landscape, and then you just drive past this house and it actually looks ridiculous.
It looks rubbish.
And it's probably taken, you know, it's probably saved you $2,000 in electricity and taken $100,000 off the value of your
look
house.
Your house. Yeah,
right.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm not saying that, right? You know, and I think our architects can do a lot better at designing bloody new homes for solar. But they are getting better a lot. But certainly, you know, a flatter pitched roof, south, north, east, west, whichever's going to look the best will probably work fine. Right?
My old house that I just sold was all south facing, every single bit of it. That house is still in a couple of $1,000 credit. People say south doesn't work. It was like 10 degrees south,
it's right.
roof filled, and it'd be sitting in a couple of grand credit right now still, you know, just for the new owner who didn't even have to buy the solar.
Exactly. Well, you know, when the sun is directly over the top of the roof, it doesn't know whether it's south, north, whatever. Right?
In winter, it struggled a little bit, but summer it probably outperformed north. Like it was very good.
That's right. So then, all right, so now you've basically just said, Two adults, two kids, two EVs. I need probably minimum of 10 to 13 kilowatts of solar, as much as I can get. Right? That's the first thing. What else do you need? A battery, I'd say.
Well, a battery, Ed, But I mean, it's important to note as well, we acknowledge that not everyone's in the position to buy a battery straight away. Does that mean you don't do anything at all?
Look, here's my view, right? So, if you're paying, say, $750 a quarter in electricity, right? I think that's a pretty typical bill.
$750, $800.
$800, right? Now, with the increase that we've just had, the one we're about to get, and the drips and drabs increases you're going to get for the next 10 years, you're going to pay $36,000 in electricity in the next 10 years.
10 years,
right? That's $300 a month. You're going to pay $300 a month on average to whoever you're paying electricity for, AGL, Origin, whatever, whoever that is, right? That's what you're going to pay. Now, interest rates are still pretty low. Like you can still get really good deals, like borrowing money from your bank or from someone who can help you.
Particularly green loans.
Like a green loan or something like that, right? You can take that $300 and you can use it. Even if you spend $30,000,
which is a big system.
Which is a big kick-ass system, right? Now, but that'll be less than $300 a month. And guess what the difference is at the end of the 10 year? One, you've got nothing to show for it. You've got nothing, right? And if you're looking at solar, you probably own your own house. Why'd you buy your own house? You took a monster mortgage for that. Why? Because you got an asset.
Some stage of your life, you said, I'm going to buy this asset.
Exactly. You took it, and you had you didn't borrow 30 grand like I'm talking about. You probably borrowed, 200 grand, 400 grand, $500,000, whatever. Right?
Oh, Ed, you haven't lived in Penrith, obviously. You've been borrowing $1 million plus.
Right. Okay. You had no issue doing that.
Right.
So then why do you have an issue borrowing 30 grand? Because you know what will happen at the end of 10 years, you've got your house to show for it. That's cool. You could have a kick-ass solar system with, 2 decades of life left in your quality solar panels and just pumping away, or you could have nothing to show for it and do nothing and just pay 36 grand.
And keep renting your electricity.
So I kind of challenge that thought of saying...
That's a really interesting way to think.
Some people can't afford it. I think they can't afford not to have it. But just challenge yourself. People are like, I don't borrow money, I won't borrow 30 grand.
Yep.
Well, you did. You borrowed $500,000. But you did,
Yeah,
right?
you did,
Because you wanted an asset at the end.
Yep.
That's what this is. I'm not telling you to take 30 grand and have a monster party. That would be great fun, but you don't have much to show for it. Probably it's a huge hangover. Right? Don't do that. No, I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is do it if you're going to have something to show for it.
And buy an asset.
And buy an asset. And if you're buying quality gear, like what Penrith Solar sells or what NRGsolar sells, installed by a quality company that's going to be around to support it, it is an asset. All right? If you're going to buy 6.6 rubbish, it's a liability.
Yeah, don't take a loan for that crap.
Don't do that. Right? I'm talking about buying an asset.
It's such an interesting way to think about it, Eddie, over 10 years. You know, I guess we get caught in trying to get people the sharpest return on investment. You know, we're obsessing over payback periods. And maybe even I'm guilty of not thinking of that 10-year picture. It's a given for me. I know I'm not going to have a power bill in 10 years. I ain't spending 36 grand to AGL or whoever the hell wants that. No, thank you. Like, I own my energy. But to shape it like that is pretty cool. But what about, Eddie, there's still people that just think battery storage isn't there yet.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Well, you know, I get that all the time, right? People are on my TikToks and my socials and they're, you know, I'm going to wait for this. I just ask this question and ask yourself this question. I'll ask it to you.
Yeah.
What does it need to be there?
Oh, I know it's there.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you then ask the question.
No, I know, yeah.
But so the question is, well, what do you want it to be?
Yeah.
All right, because you can only have a few things. The price could get cheaper. That's one thing that they could say.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. This is filled with natural minerals from out the ground that's being mined. So year 8 economics class will say supply and demand pushes the price up. Is the demand for battery storage going to go up or down as we move into EVs?
Obviously up.
So why should the price necessarily come down? It may not, right?
People just probably have this perception of economies of scale.
I think so. But, you know, I think when in 2010, if you said, I need battery storage to halve in price and double in capacity and get a lot smarter before I bought one.
Yeah.
That was a fair comment, and you would have bought it by about 2018.
True.
Because in that period, they halved in price, they doubled in capacity, and they got smart.
Yes.
But since that day, that's not going to happen a second time. No. We had it.
No,
There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm gonna wait for a battery to halve in price and double in capacity. There's nothing wrong with that, except the time to say it was 2010 is not 2023, bro.
So true.
So my answer to that is, what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
What are you waiting for?
Because buying cheap crap is not the answer.
Yep.
If you actually can't afford to buy a quality battery for your home, don't buy a battery. That's my advice. My business, you know, and you might know a little bit about NRGsolar. We fix solar systems that are built by other people poorly all the time.
Yep.
We're known as that kind of person that will help you out in SA. I'm the good guy.
Eddie comes basically like wearing a cape.
I've got a white horse and I come flying in, right? But I can tell you, we hate it.
Yeah.
Why do we hate it? Because it's so expensive.
Yep.
You've got to unravel. You've got to learn something new. You're like, what even is this?
Yeah.
We had a customer literally the other day, last week. We removed a battery that was a year old. I won't say the brand.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm done with it. And he bought a Tesla Powerwall. And he goes, and I regret not doing it the first time. He didn't come to us the first time. He went to someone else. They had the Tesla on offer and this crap battery. They actually talked him into the cheaper one because they probably thought he wouldn't spend the money. He said he kind of got edged down there in the end. You know, that battery, you know, that's gone into recycling now. But I mean, you know, it was a ridiculous waste and so stressful for that customer.
Of course.
So the leading advice from me is if you legitimately can't borrow the money and you can't find a way to buy a battery, don't roll the dice on a cheap one. Just wait. But if you were going to look at it like this. If AGL said, I'll give you a battery for free, you'd probably go, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they are doing that literally by you taking the $300 that you're paying them. They're paying for your battery.
True.
Right?
True.
Just buy a good one.
Yes. It's interesting, Ed, and there are a couple of things that come to mind there. And one of the first ones is batteries ain't batteries. So often I'll see a house that maybe we lost, or I might be going for a walk and I'll see a home and it's got something that I know is an absolute bucket of crap bolted to the wall. And I look at it and I just go, why? Mm-hmm. How is that allowed to even be sold in Australia, that crap? Mm-hmm. It was probably a letter in the mail from someone selling bulk batteries on a bulk battery buy. Yeah. Newsflash, they don't exist. If it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's probably, pun not intended, it's probably a duck, and it ain't the cricketer type of duck I'm talking about, but it kind of is. Yeah. It kind of is. You know, you see these batteries on a wall that people think are going to change their lives, and they're just garbage ed. I mean, you've installed batteries for a while, and I've installed a lot, and I was lucky or unlucky enough to go through the first revolution of Tesla Powerwalls, you know, installing them for other sales companies. And man, nothing to say about Powerwall 1 because I just don't need to relive that. But credit to Tesla, Powerwall 2 is an incredible battery. It does things that the battery of 2035 should do, you know. Oh, yeah. Its capacity, the usability, the sleek sexiness of the battery, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way that it seamlessly integrates into your life. Like, it's just on an app, a really good looking app. You were just showing me yours. Yep. Sitting at home without even any solar, making you how many dollars a day?
Oh yeah, like it's...
Today is a great day.
Today's a great day. It's probably going to make $100 today.
$100 your battery's going to make
with no solar.
Just sitting there, playing the market. Yeah. It's a different way to deploy these products, right? But Ed, the confidence that you have in that product, that Powerwall, right? Is there any other battery for you that gives you that?
Well,
I know the answer is yes, actually, now I think about it.
You know the answer is yes.
I didn't, but now I do. Yeah, I forgot.
Look, for me, we sell a lot of Fronius inverters, and we couple them, the Gen 24 with a BYD. Yeah. And it is a great combination, right? And the Fronius inverter is getting smarter and smarter when it comes to energy management, but the battery's pretty dumb. It doesn't do anything. Yep. It just gets everything from the Fronius, right? Sure. So you need the inverter and then you need the battery. Yep. With the Powerwall, you don't need, you just get the Powerwall. Sure. The other thing I think I've fallen in love with Tesla over and over again with their Powerwalls, a bit like their cars, is that, you know, we were putting Powerwalls in for customers in 2018, I think, when Powerwall 2, 18 to 19, first year came in. Yeah. Those customers are putting, Gateway 1, those customers are putting in a second Powerwall or a third Powerwall now. And they are just compatible like that. Mate. They look the same, they act the same.
Commission's in 20 minutes.
You just multi-stack it in front or put it side by side and it's done. You get other batteries, you cannot do that. You cannot go to, you know, we put some batteries in with Victron back in the day and, you know, pylon techs or whatever. You know, if you can't, you just can't do it. Like their voltage mismatches and, you know, you can't, it looks crap, it performs crap.
One of the advantages of AC coupled batteries too, but Tesla's battery management system. And the thing that I love about it so much as well, that battery has been current. It got released in 2017 and we started selling it in 2018, Powerwall 2, right? Yeah. It's been current for how many years? Yeah. It's 5, 6? Yeah. 6 years that's been the current model and not a single other company has knocked it off its perch. Yeah. Nothing's come close.
Well, no, they haven't come close. No. And because, you know, yes, they've brought batteries out, but what they haven't been able to keep up with it is the development of the technology, the app, the Gateway 2. We've done, the only upgrades we've done for some customers, we've upgraded their Gateway 1 to a Gateway 2 because they wanted some extra functionality that the Gateway 2 have, 3-phase and so forth, right?
Absolutely.
So we have done that up, but that's like, that's less than a couple of grand. That's not a $20,000 upgrade.
We're doing Gateway 1 to 2 upgrades for about $2K.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Right?
You know,
so,
it's not an exercise to make money, it's an exercise to service a client.
But that's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. So, but then it enables them to, you know, to do what they want to do if they want, you know, stuff over multiple phases and stuff. So, yeah.
Look, what about the backup? You know, everyone thinks that a batteries going to have backup, and some of them shouldn't have backup. I think there are spots I think there's a certain market where backup, when it comes at a cost of say $3,000 or whatever it is, there are certain parts of the market that probably don't need it. If a client doesn't have, like I know in SA your grid's a bit more unstable, volatile than ours.
Yeah. Well, when you have really high penetration of renewables, the grid operators have to learn to deal with instability. And the biggest, actually, the most outages we have in SA is storm damage. That is the primary driver of an outage, right? So if you have a statewide massive storm, it's a lot to fix, right? That's where you have, and our Adelaide Hills, we have huge trees, and they come down, they take down power lines, they cut power off, blah, 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 right? So the Adelaide Hills residents love backup. We've got a customer that went 4.5 days with his Tesla Powerwall with no solar.
Wow.
Right? And I'm just like, and he did a video for it. Great guy, right?
Wow.
And the thing is this, I'm like, how does that even work? And he's like, my app was so good that I was just able to just turn things off, do this, do that. If we wanted to, he goes, it was a little like camping in the end, but I could see how many more hours I've got. And I'll be like, honey,
and I
just
had
turn
lights
that
and
light
internet.
off. And he goes, we love it. The fridge was there, the beer was cold, the TV was on, and we ran, right?
So good.
And it was interesting. The reason that his solar went off wasn't a problem with his solar system, actually. It was because it was just a really unusual event he was involved in. Our grid operators turned off all the solar in his area to try and levelise the grid.
Right.
And then, in the middle of that happening, a storm came through and took his power out. So
and it couldn't blackstart.
It couldn't get his solar back until that. No, it had a message sent to it to turn off, right? Which is which is a dynamic export message, right? That we have, right? So, or solar shutdown that we can have, right? So. But, like I said, he went days. He loved it. And he reckons he was down to like you. He was down to 2%. Power came out. It's like, hallelujah. And then he's taking screenshots and he's texting it to our tech support team, saying how good is this, and putting it on our Facebook. So, look, I think lots of so backup. I think backup is a thing, and I think it's important.
Attention, please. There'll be a test in the fire alarm and evacuation system.
Why would people do this to us?
Do we have to go?
No, it's just a test.
That's what happens.
That's what happens when you have a solar mega facility. You get fire tests every month.
Who's testing this?
The fire people.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Are they done?
Do they realise we're talking?
Nah, don't worry about it.
Anyway, let's just keep going.
We'll just keep rolling. There's going to be the fire alarm.
There's going to be a fire alarm. We're really sorry. Cool. Ed, there's one thing I want to get clear while we're talking about batteries.
Yeah.
And, we said batteries aren't batteries.
Yeah.
People can buy batteries and think they're going to change the world, and they're actually just going to be in landfill, hopefully not recycled. You know what I mean, right? But backup, man. Every battery comes with backup. And it's not what people think.
No.
Backup can be dismal at best. There are certain batteries out there that can operate your house mostly when the grid's on, but when backup kicks in, it gives you like a trickle, a kilowatt, 1.3 kilowatts, whatever it might be, like a really low amount. Those batteries shouldn't even have backup, in my opinion. Well, they should be grid tight.
That's right. And if you want that, you probably shouldn't buy a crap battery anyway, right? But to try and force backup on a battery that doesn't have it natively built into their system is where the problems start, all right? And I'll tell you the biggest problem, right? The problem is if you overload what it's able to do. So let's say you've got 1.8 kilowatts of backup, and you try and you're just going about your business and you try and pump 3 kilowatts, put a kettle on, microwave, whatever. All of a sudden, the battery then trips, right? Now, what often happens is that battery then loses comms, that shit battery. Right?
Rubbish.
Right? Yeah. Then you try and restart it. You get, I shouldn't have turned the kettle off. Or you race around the house. Yeah. You try and restart it. It hasn't got a comms connection, right? It's not going to do the restart properly. And you get caught in a vicious cycle of not being able to get anything going again. And you're sitting there with whether it be a cheap battery or not, an investment choice that you made, and you're sitting in the dark, and you're frustrated
as hell,
like crazy. And then you get online, you start reading how to sort it, and all you're reading for the first time is everybody's rubbish opinion about that problem that you've got.
Absolutely.
Right? So flip that on its side, right? So let's say, what would happen with a Fronius inverter or a Tesla, all right? Let's talk about Tesla.
Yeah.
All right, so you got your Tesla.
Yep.
For starters, it's got way more power. It's got five.
It's got 5 kilowatts continuous
per battery.
Per battery.
And it's got a peak.
A peak of 7 for 10 seconds.
Let's say you go 10. I don't know how you're going to pump through 10, but let's say you did.
Which is a lot of load.
And
with one battery, by the way, because when you've got 2 on backup, you can do 10 all day.
A well-designed business, a system that you would get from NRGsolar or Jakey Boy here, Penrith, wouldn't probably have 10 kilowatts of capacity even on the backup, to allow you to make that mistake. But let's just say it did. And you got, let's say you got that into the worst scenario you could, that you cannot restart it. You open the gateway, you get your pen, you push it in the restart, the relay clicks down, and then everything fires back up, and it is done.
But before that, it'll give you 3 chances to get it right. It'll turn off and say, hey, you've overloaded me. Turn some loads off. And if your intuition doesn't say turn the oven off or whatever they've put in backup, you're in strife. But the cool thing is too, Ed, you've got that live feedback of your app. So you can see the power spike and go, oh, 10 or 11 kilowatts, no good. Let's turn some stuff off. And it will give you 3 chances of that before you got to do that reset. Really early on in my Tesla experience, this is years and years ago, I had this happen with a customer, and I wasn't, because we'd only installed a few, right? We just didn't know, right? So I'm like, I'm probably just going to have to ring Tesla, right? It was like 11 o'clock at night. I don't even know. I was probably having some wines. I thought, who's this? I probably thought it was one of my mates as a customer. Anyway, so chatting with them, I'll call you back. So I ring Tesla, right? The phone answers. The person's in like California or something. I'm like, where are you? They're like, oh, we're in Spain or somewhere in the world. Right? And I'm like, and I explained the situation. They're like, oh yeah, what you got to do? And then like sent me a text to my phone with instructions. Like pretty simple on-off instructions, but just so I didn't get it wrong. And I hit the copy and I sent it to the customer's phone. And they would have thought you were And I rang them and they go, just leave this with me for a minute. They ring me like 10 minutes later. I'm like, oh, that hasn't worked. And the guy's like, everything's sweet, man. Like, this is the most amazing experience, blah, blah, blah. But that's what you get, right? You can always get yourself out of trouble. And, quite simply, she said, get your pen and stick it in the reset thing. Probably was the whole that's how easy it was. And, Fronius is the same. I've got a Fronius at my house with a BYD battery, and I've definitely had that scenario as well, where I've actually had it where I was out, the blackout occurred, some stuff was on, it literally flattened the battery, like it was pretty flat. It was night by the time I got home. So in the morning though, as I was getting up in the morning, it was all just coming back on. I didn't actually restart anything. Like the inverter clicked on and then it clicked the battery into gear. And I was just like, what just happened there? And then I'm just like, and I was sort of thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought we were in a blackout. I wasn't too stressed about it. But literally in the morning, the solar came on, the battery came back on, and the house fired back up, and I was running off grid pretty much until, if I remember right, like later that night. Right. It's a long period of time too, and they're great success stories, right? Like of it working. And I recently had a 36-hour blackout as well, and I've got a number of Powerwalls. I've got 2 on my backup phase, and I've got N phase, obviously, and so I can keep solar on.
You got N phase?
I've got N phase. Right? I've got N phase. I know.
They're the micro inverters.
They're the micro inverters. Anyway. With 0 moving parts, because we all know moving parts equals heat, heat equals fatigue, fatigue equals.
I don't know, I'm fatigued right now.
Failure.
I'm fatigued right now. But anyway,
that's not an end phase pitch. But 36 hours, right? And the Powerwalls just kept me going. And at my house, if I don't have power, I don't have water because I'm on tank water. My sewer doesn't work, or my envirocycle doesn't work. Like a whole number of things can go wrong. So in a rural area, like it's important that you have that reliable backup. Not just backup similar to the installer where you're rolling a dice saying, I hope it works. Not like that at all. Ed, before we wrap up, There is one other kind of thing you can add on to your system, which is like a bolt-on battery, but it's not a battery, man. But it does store energy.
Yeah, you're talking probably about a heat pump.
Yes.
A hot water heat pump.
I knew it was a heat pump.
I've got a Reclaim heat pump at my house. There's other brands. I've got a Reclaim. What have you got?
I've got a Reclaim too.
Got a Reclaim,
Exactly
right,
the same as you. I think a 315 litre.
Yep. So what do I like about the Reclaim? Well, first thing I like about it is so quiet. Like you literally could install this in your bedroom.
You could.
It is so
you
quiet.
Wouldn't.
You probably wouldn't.
But you could.
But you could, and you'd sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
So that I like, right?
Yeah.
I've got it to set up. It comes on at 10 o'clock every day, heats the water.
10 till 2, hey?
10 till
Solar
2,
hours. Yep.
solar hours, so I never ever pay to heat hot water, ever, right? The other thing I like about the Reclaim heat pump is it does exactly what you do. You're taking solar energy, you're converting that into hot water, and you're using it later.
Yeah.
So it is like a battery storage system, but it's less expensive because it's actually just for hot water.
What if you change the word battery to energy?
Energy, that makes
an
sense.
energy storage system.
It's an
That's
energy.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
You're storing energy in the form of hot water.
Yep.
We have it too, Ed, and let me tell you, I've monitored this thing pretty closely, and it's actually blown my expectations. I went from having a standard hot water tank using around 7 to 10 kilowatt hours per day for hot water. I'm now using 1 to 2 kilowatt hours per day, and I'm the sort of guy, even though I'm on tank water, I like a long hot shower, and I cannot run this thing empty.
Yeah.
It heats, it doesn't quite literally heat as quick as I can use, but it feels like it does. And then it's got the shot feature.
Yeah.
You hit the shot button and you get a full tank of hot water in 20 minutes
Yeah.
using 1 kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Pretty
And you know
impressive.
how it does that?
No,
you
I
know
don't.
what? Well, your old tank heated from the bottom.
Yes.
So your elements, this tank heats from the top. And it
Top
heat,
down.
and
You
that's
use
where
the
the
hot
water
water from the
comes
top.
from. So it's that when you're enjoying that shower, it hasn't heated the whole tank at that point.
Right.
You can jump in the shower after about 10 minutes.
And just use the top of the tank.
And have a warm shower, not boiling hot.
Yep.
And you just skim the top of the tank. The recovery time is the best of anything. It's the best design of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, definitely now you've got 12, 13 kilowatts of solar. You've got your battery system there. You've got
Obviously,
an EV
electric
charger down the
vehicles,
truck.
EV charger, heat pump.
You've got your heat pump heating
Heat
your
pump
hot
for the
water.
pool as well.
And and finally, then you've got anything else that you can control. And we're starting to see a lot more conversations around how can I be smarter? How can I be smarter, right? So, for example, you can manage your pool pump. If you want, you can put your pool pump in solar mode now.
Yes.
And you can say, so long as it runs for 4 hours a day, I just would like those first 4 hours to be solar only.
Yes.
Right? And if it's solar only, great, job done. And if it's a bit cloudy, sure, it might run.
Yeah.
But that might take care of 80% of your energy of your pool pump now is coming from your solar, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the final, that's the final thing that, the bow that wraps the perfect,
I agree, mate. I agree.
renewable gift at your home.
And the all-electric lifestyle, the electric home, is so rewarding. It's a beautiful feeling, and you're doing the right thing. You don't have power bills. Well, T's and C's apply. I don't. Some people might still, but I don't have a fuel bill. I don't have a power bill. I don't have any of that. In fact, my excess solar pays for my internet at home.
Yeah.
It's all just bundled in the same kind of thing. So it's great. But I think what's important, Eddie, it all starts with a solar system or an energy system. That's the platform that you're going to build your electric home on.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that owns your board. Solar system, use Enphase for example. The Enphase Envoy is going to be the brains of this electric home. And it's got CTs. So it measures when your home's using energy, selling energy, buying energy, and that tells batteries when to charge. Tesla tells itself when to charge. But the Enphase battery will be part of that, and that will be your platform. So I think it's so important. Step one of an electric home is to lay that great foundation with a solid solar system, a great investment that's going to last you essentially a lifetime.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jake. And I think, in terms of what can you take out of this? Well, one thing I think is that, when you're looking at that solar system, ask that question. My house might not be fully electric right now, but this first step, describe to me what the end will look like eventually, right? Have the person that's talking to you about solar describe how all of these bits will eventually fit together. And if that's possible, then you will know that what you chose as your base level of, inverter, as an example, whether you choose N-phase or Fronius. At NRG, we sell N-phase and Fronius. At Penrith, everything's N-phase. And you have that amazing base, like Jake just said, right? And everything will plug into it from that point on. It'll be amazing.
So, awesome, guys. Well, there is no doubt at all that the future is electric, and we are so excited. So, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Eddie. Until the next one, we'll see you then.
Like, share, and comment.